Hello, everybody. Welcome to Out of Character. I'm your host, The Faulty GM, and today is another episode of Out of Character Talk. I know it's been a while. I'm trying to get back on track here, so bear with me. The last 2 weeks have been kind of hectic due to personal and a whole bunch of other issues. Um, I am a little sick, so if I have to sneeze or something, I apologize. But yeah, so today, what I want to talk about on Out of Character Talk is I want to talk about villains, or specifically the villain. And before we get into this, I just want you guys to know that this is just my opinion. So this is just how I do things, how I work with my villains. I'm only telling you all this in the hopes that, if somebody is trying to figure out and they're new to the system, or maybe they're old to the system and they've never GM before, whatever the case may be, um, you might find some inspiration in what I have to say through my method of creating my villains. So, with that being said, let's dive straight in. So, how I make my villains is I try to focus on three aspects that kind of tie in together. They're not like they all kind of work together. So, I try to make my villain super relatable. I try to flesh out his motives, and I try to make his message the correct one in certain lights. So let's go into some of these, right? So relatability, motive, and message are all kind of tied into each other. So what I mean by that is when I make my villain, right, the main antagonist, the main force opposing my heroes, I want it to be that they can relate to it in some way or another. Either I tie in to their backstories, maybe their backstories have some kind of tie-ins with this guy, or the message that they're trying to preach is a message that resonates. It's something that you can't necessarily deny is true. And you can make them relatable based on their motives or their message. But the other ways to make them relatable is just to make them human, to make them have flaws, to make them have strong aspirations and aspects, and to flesh out their backstory. So typically, villains inside of books, inside of most media, if you just leave them as the face of evil and say this man wants to destroy the world, or this man wants to tear down America, or this woman wants to tear asunder the continent of North America and separate Mexico from blah 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 blah, right? And you don't give them a reason for wanting to do this, they kind of collapse in on themselves. It's just that's what it is. It's a black and white kind of issue. They just want to do it because they want to do it. But once you go in and explain the reason they want to do this thing, this dude wants to destroy the world because, for his entire life, the world has just kind of spit on him and he's going to tear the world apart, rebuild the world, or maybe like nobody's really listening to global warming scientists and he's a global warming scientist who's just lost his mind, and he's like, you know what, if the world isn't going to listen and we're the ones that are tearing it apart, I'm going to take a select group of people who are not global warming deniers, put them in this box, and then blow the world up. And once the world has healed itself and put itself back together, we will emerge from this box and we will restart humanity. But the idea is that you want to make it so that when the players look at this person, they don't just think, I'm going to murder you. They go, I wish you didn't go down this path. Like, they look at this guy and they go, I understand, right? Like, and I get you, but I just wish I didn't have to fight you. You want the players on a meta level to love your villain, and you want them to feel a sense of remorse and victory when they defeat them. Is kind of how it should be. Yeah, so that's kind of what I mean by relatability. You want your players to be able to have an emotional connection to said villain. So let's talk about the motives of a villain. This is something that I spend a lot of time thinking about, and the motives is very similar to like the relatability in the aspect of whatever their message is, whatever their goal is, the motive is what makes them want to do this. Um, so what I mean by that is when you have a character who wants to conquer the world, it changes who they are. What separates them from every other villain is why they want to conquer the world, right? So, for example, there's a difference between Magneto and Doctor Doom. And even though both of them have attempted to conquer the world, they both want to do it for completely different reasons. Doctor Doom wants to conquer the world due to his need and want for world peace. He believes that he's the only one capable of pushing the world into a state of world peace. And because of that, he needs to use force, and he pretty much has to give you world peace at the end of a gun, right? Like he has to pretty much stick everyone up and say, we're going to have peace, and if you don't like it, I'm just going to straight up kill you. And the people that will be left are the people that are okay with being in world peace. Magneto is different. He wants to rule the world to make the world safe from mutants. He believes that mutants should be on tops and humans should be on the bottom. He believes that humans have unrighteously attacked mutants, and he would just like to make it a safe place. But again, those two things separate these two characters, and their motives are what drive them. It's what pushes them to do the things that they're going to do. Even deeper than that, you can go, again, further back and go, Doctor Doom, most of the things that he does in life, like the crazy, crazy schemes that he has to achieve power, are all attempts to rescue his mother's soul from Mephisto, which in Marvel is like a demon. So like most of the things he does, like getting the power cosmic, becoming like he just does all these crazy things, and they all go back to rescuing his mother's soul from Mephisto. So that's a huge motivator. That's a huge driving force, and that's a huge humanizer to who he is. And same thing with Magneto. Magneto was a prisoner in Auschwitz, so he has suffered at the hands of humans at the most brutal level. So fundamentally, he does not want that to happen, but he is a good person. But to him, he's akin to like early Malcolm X, where he believes force abets force. You need to use force against force to stop force against you. If someone pulls out a gun, you pull out a gun in your own, and someone's going to get shot. You know, if it's you, it's you, but maybe it's them. Maybe they stop pulling guns on you. You know, that's kind of Magneto's motivation. So, and again, when I said that, like, when you want to make a character relatable and the motives and their message kind of all turn into each other, it's because when you go deeper into the character's motives, you end up making these characters more relatable, right? Like it shines a new light on Doctor Doom when you see how much he's struggling with his mom's soul being captured by Mephisto, and how he's willing to do all of these terrible things just to free her soul, you know. And it really humanizes him in a way and makes the readers, and in this case the players, able to relate to him on a level they might not have if you did not share that aspect of him. So the last tidbit that I will say about villains is you want their message to be the correct message. What I mean by that is Doctor Doom preaches peace. Magneto, to a degree, preaches equality, right? These are messages that people can easily get behind, right? But it's not the message that makes them a villain, it's their methods. So the methods of which a villain does to achieve their goal, right? To carry out their message are the things that make them wrong. It's not that what they're doing or what they stand for is wrong. It's that the way they're trying to accomplish it is wrong. So in my world of Sunder, a little bit of background, the world is pretty much dominated by gods. The gods have come to the mortal plane to wage this war on each other by playing this like capture the flag game, and they have to use the mortals and like pitting them against each other in order to become the next king of the gods, right? There's a group called the Godless, and the Godless are mortals who have pretty much thrown off their allegiances to all the gods, and they claim that the gods only exist because we believe in them, and that if you stop believing in the gods, we can either weaken them to a point where we can kill them and they leave, or they just simply will stop existing, right? Their message is a sound one. Their message of the gods have destroyed most of this stuff, we need to stand on our own and believe in ourselves, is something that many people in my world of Sunder can get behind and believe in and go, yeah, you're right, the gods have done nothing but terrible things to us and so on and so forth. But the method that they use to carry out their goal of getting rid of the gods is brutal. They go to whole villages and go, you either stop believing in the gods or we murder you. If you believe in gods, they will just straight up kill you, because you're one less person now that believes in gods. And you either stop believing or we just murder you. And, a lot of people get turned off because of that. And that's what makes their group villainous. That's what makes their group antagonist towards most of the players inside of Sunder, right? Because if you're playing inside of Sunder and you happen to come up against Godless, more than likely you are not a Godless. Therefore, they probably are going to try to kill you, because if you're not with them, you're part of the problem. So I hope this all helps. The main takeaways is just try to make them relatable so that the characters can feel an emotional bond with your villain. Provide your villain with a deeper motivation for why they are trying to achieve their goals. Maybe like a fundamental reason why they're pushing so hard and willing to do the terrible things they are to achieve their goals, right? And this should also tie in with their relatability and give the players a deeper sense of who that villain is and make them feel a deeper connection to them. And the last thing is their message shouldn't be the wrong message, right? Their message shouldn't be we should destroy the world for the sake of destroying the world. We should spread chaos for the sake of spreading chaos. It should be we should destroy the world to start a new one. We should spread chaos so that order can then persist, so that order can then reemerge. Or, we should get rid of the gods so that we can fend for ourselves. We should create peace in a world that is stricken with war. We should create equality for mutants and humans. The message should be right, but the methodology of how to carry out that message should be the thing that makes them villains. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for this video. Again, I'm sorry guys that I was away for 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm trying to put up videos now. So hopefully you guys like this video. If this inspired you to make any villains, or if this was just interesting, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.